Hey there, this is Brock Soysher, lead programmer and project lead for Lunarsea, and this is my stand-up for the 17th. So the main thing I want to show you today is that one big thing that I did is I redid all of the UI, and what I mean by that is I went through all the text throughout the game, and I replaced every single instance of text with Text Mesh Pro. So I'm in this just empty scene right now because I just kind of want to show you the difference between the two. So if you go to, right click, UI, text, let's see that. So we got some new text right here. Let's see what it'll look like in the game view. So here's just some text. I'll blow it up just a bit to make it a little bit easier to see. Let's just do that. Something like that. Doesn't really matter. So as you can see, here's what Unity text looks like. And it looks pretty bad. It really does not look good. It's not crisp, and just like if you just zoom in on it, you can see just the more you zoom in, the harder it is to tell. Same thing if you just kind of scale in the game view, it'll become very pixely the closer that you get to it, which obviously nobody wants. And so this is what's built into Unity. That's just what comes by default. But if you go to the asset store here, and you type in, when it loads, if you type in Text Mesh Pro, you get this. And so this used to be an asset that you had to pay for, but I guess Unity bought it or something, and so now it's free. You can just import it whenever you want. Text Mesh Pro is yours. And so to show it, let's do Canvas UI, Text Mesh Pro text. Click on that. Let's just put this right here. And so already you can tell that it's a lot better. Look at that. Zoom in. Let's just go down here a bit. And so, yeah, it is, and when you zoom in, because it's in the game view, it's still going to be a little bit pixely. But that's okay, because when you zoom out, it's, again, the difference is night and day. And then if you go into the scene view, actually, look at this. So, again, zoom in, there's the W there, zoom in, here's the W here. And so the whole thing is that Text Mesh Pro actually knows, how it's being seen and rendered, and it'll change it to make sure that it is always super high quality. So yeah, so I can just delete this now. Don't need that anymore. Yeah, so let's go into the main scene. So yeah, so as you can see, again, it's a little bit hard to see if you aren't actually looking for it. So all this is now Text Mesh Pro. It's about the same size. It's all much higher quality. Same thing here. You can go to the main menu. All of this has been changed. Let's go to better resolution. So yeah, so it looks a lot better now. I had a couple hiccups implementing it in the beginning because one problem, if there's anyone else who's watching this, says, oh, I might put Text Mesh Pro in my game. Make sure that when you do add text, for example, like if you add this, that you have to make sure everything is sized correctly, and even then, it's probably best if you go into extra settings and untoggle raycast target. It's not a huge deal, but there will be times where, let's say you accidentally have it like this. It'll be pretty obvious, but sometimes you won't even know that your bounding boxes are really weird. And yeah, so if I run it like this with raycast target on, we hit play, and then you'll notice, let me mute the audio. So now, oh, actually, it's working pretty well. All right, well, every now and then, the problem I had is that it will have a hard time telling, oh, this is probably what I need to do. So yeah, so if I do it like that, and then, oh, it's still working. Okay. Anyways, you can run into the issue where it will have a hard time telling what you are going for. So if you're raycasting target, lots of times with buttons, it'll be a raycast from the mouse cursor to the button or wherever you're looking at. And if raycast target is on, there is a chance that it will be confused and it will try to it'll try and do that raycast from the mouse to the button or whatever, and the text will be getting in the way of it. And so I've had it so that like I could mouse over any of these buttons and none of them would highlight. If you click on them, nothing would happen. So it didn't happen here. It was very hit and miss for me as well, so you never really know when it's going to happen. But yeah, so it's something to keep in mind. If it's something that happens to you, then you'll know what happened. And so yeah, another big thing that I got to work is I'll open up the code. Let's see. Nope. Where do I get the code? Still trying to learn OBS a little bit, so give me 1 second here. So I'm just going to be talking. So yeah, there we go. So I got the code to finally work with Steam Microtransaction. So essentially what it's going to do is, let's say you click on the first button to buy coins, like this is 99 cents one. It runs this method in it, taxation method or transaction. It's just an array here, how much it's going to cost. And so it's pretty complicated. So if I'm going to go into a bit of detail in case there are any groups who want to do something similar in the future. So the whole thing is that Steam runs everything through HTTP programming, which I had absolutely no experience with, so I had to go in and get some help with it. But essentially what you have to do is you have to call functions to the Steam servers, and you have to get information about the player that's currently playing the game, get his ID, his or her ID, where they're from, and what type of currency that they use. You have to get all of that, and then you use that information to send a post call to the Steam servers, and you have to tell them what their name is, what they want to buy, how much that costs, what the description of that item is, all this different stuff. And then you have to finalize the transaction. I'm going through this pretty quickly because there's a whole lot of jargon here, and a lot of it not even I fully understand. So yeah, so if anybody needs any help with this, I can easily just give them my own code. But yeah, so the main thing is that you have to use HTTP programming to send requests to the Steam servers, and once you do that, that will allow microtransactions. So yeah, that's the main thing I did this week. A big thing now is that we do have Lunarsea up on Steam. You can't, you won't be able to actually search for it in the store or anything like that just yet. But right now, if you are one of the members in the Steam groups that we have you in, then you should be able to actually just go into Steam and run Lunarsea from your Steam client, which is very, very helpful. So yeah, it's not a lot to show, but it did take me a very, very long time. Getting the Steam overlay stuff to work took me like 2 weeks. But yeah, now it's done. So yeah, I'm gonna leave now. Goodbye.